Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up Report. And New York City apparently has a new sport for women, baby tossing. 3 women in the span of about 3 months have murdered their children by throwing them out of the window of their high-rise apartments. Tanisha Firan threw her 6-month-old baby girl out of her window. Rashida Chowdhury claimed that her baby was possessed and threw her baby out of the window. And Jennifer Berry threw her baby out of a 7-story window with the umbilical cord still attached to the child. You know, there's this period in the Bible, I believe. It's like during Revelations, I guess, where I believe some of us, God takes some of us, I guess that first round, and then the rest of us are left to kind of fend for ourselves, and then the ones who can survive that, those are the ones who will be taken in the second wave or something. I don't know. I think we're in that second wave period. I think where it's the last days and we just don't know it or something, because in terms of behavior, are we just getting worse? And it really seems with the technological advances, with all the advances in technology and medicine and just things that people can do in terms to better themselves as human beings, it really seems like we are getting worse and worse and worse. And if this ever reaches a tipping point, I got to imagine, man, that's when the sky's going to open up. You know, God Almighty's going to say, look, I've just had enough. You know, we got to end this right now. You know, what do you blame this on? I am aware of, I guess, the postpartum depression thing where women have actually killed their children because they sink into such a depressed state. Now, in Miss Firan's case, though, yeah, she had 3 children. So, what possessed her to do this to this child, I don't know. Don't know if she'll ever talk about it. My baby's possessed, so I'm going to throw it out the window. It's as simple as that. And how do you, if the umbilical cord is still attached to the child, apparently, I don't know if you had the child in the apartment building or whatever, So I don't know, in Miss Firan's case, some neighbors heard an argument. I don't know if it was a boyfriend or a child's father, but the man left the apartment apparently screaming, "God help us, God help us." And a neighbor said that looking through his window, he saw Miss Firan and her 3 children lying naked on the floor. All of a sudden, she jumps up, starts beating on the window. I guess she gets the window open, holds the child out over the outside the window, and starts screaming that she's going to drop the child and that we're all going to die. And and neighbors and people that were watching, were begging her not to do it. Didn't work. She just dropped the kid, and child died as a result. We don't know what possesses a woman to claim that her child is possessed. And you can take a baby to a church. You can take a baby to a hospital. If for whatever reason you don't want the child, if for whatever reason you think that the child is a burden, or if the child is possessed. If you think the child is possessed, take the baby to a church then, and have a pastor deal with the child or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know if Miss Firan's case, I don't know if it just boils down to just if it was because of the fight, you don't want your ex to get the child, or you don't. I guess we'll never know. What I do know is, we got to start looking at ourselves as a society. And these women fit pretty much my bill, though, because my theory of anybody born about 1994 up until now is pretty much just a total hot mess of dysfunction. These last 2 generations of black people have been the most useless, the most self-destructive, the most lost. There is something about these 2 generations that have produced just utter chaos in the black community. And I believe one of the women, I don't believe was black. I believe that Miss Chowdhury. I'm not sure if she was black or not. So, so hey, I guess that's one for us. They weren't all black, so. But, there's something seriously wrong with us. The story I did about the man that cut his mama's heart out, I actually did a story in the summer a while back about a woman who set her baby on fire and all this kind of stuff. And they all fall within the same age range. They've all grown up with the same influences. I don't care what anybody says. To me, there is just something demonic about people that put tattoos all over their bodies, that adopt jail culture. And I'm not, there isn't anything wrong with a tattoo here and there. A tattoo in the right place is a sexy thing on a woman. A tattoo on your neck, on your eyelids, on your fingers. I saw a woman once that she had leopard spots. I said leper, it looked like something that was a disease anyway, but leopard spots tattooed on her thigh going all the way up, I guess, to her waist or something like that. Why would you just defile your bodies like that? But they all kind of fit with these tattoos and with what you grow up with in terms of influence, the music, the culture, everything that has been consumed since 1994 has produced just some of the most dysfunctional, lost, violent people. And me personally, I expect men to kind of be destructive and men are stupid like that. So, men are going to fight and men are going to be destructive and all that kind of stuff. But when the creators of life, for us, that would be the women in our society, when the creators of life start to take those lives themselves, when the creators of lives start to snuff out, those lives when you can be so callous, when you can be just so unsympathetic to just dump a child out of a window like that. How do you explain that? How do you explain it? To set a baby on fire, to throw a child out of a window with the umbilical cord still attached to the child. It's more than postpartum depression. In some cases, it may be proven. However, in the event that there is no postpartum depression, in the event that there is no mental illness, I would walk all three of those ratchet bitches back up to those apartments. I would open up the windows and I would throw all three of those ratchet bitches out of the window. And then when I put them on trial, I would ask them, based on what I did to you, what do you think the punishment should be for throwing someone out of a window to their death? And you better not lie, because if you lie, I will take your monkey asses all the way to the roof and I will throw your monkey asses off the roof and call it a day. And I guess that is why KTM can never dispense justice, because you would not want to live in my world if I was running the show. It's just a sad statement. It's a very sad statement. If society is in fact so hard, if American society is so hard on people, then it's doubly, triply hard on black people. And, are we starting to just snap under the pressure? You got to figure the middle passage. Those of us who made it over are considered the strongest. If you made that middle passage, if your people, your relatives made it from Africa to wherever they were picking up slaves and made it all the way here with all the horrific things that were going on those ships, all that death, all that violence, just all that. If you made it here, you were considered to be the strongest of the strong. And that distinction is slowly being eroded because for whatever reason, we are slowly sinking into, or a lot of us are slowly sinking into what I consider just to be just utter madness. We got to do something about it. We got to take a serious look at it. I don't imagine that the Black Lives Matters people want to run down to whatever area in New York that this happened and march with the signs and all that kind of stuff. So it's, I guess they're only good for when, white cops get shot and killed, or when white cops go to jail. That's when they're happy. But, when something as horrific as this happens, where do you really place the blame in regards to Black Lives Matter? These women are showing you what they think of black lives. They're showing you what they think of their own black lives. And God bless the babies. They're back, I guess, where they should have stayed. However these women pan out in terms of jail, they should never be let out as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if New York has a death penalty or not, but unless it is proven that you seriously have some type of mental issue, mental illness in regards to some of the things that are done, rapists and murderers of children deserve no mercy. There should be a death penalty for people that commit crimes as horrific as this, man. To hurt a child, is just the most horrific thing, I think, that a human being can stoop and sink to. I always say, black people like making history in the worst of ways. It is yet to be seen how low we will truly go before it is all said and done. This is KTM in the Wake Up Report saying, think a little bit. It will do wonders for you.